As for her number, you moron.
On this day in 2007, I Am Legend was released. Will Smith's gripping performance as Robert Neville, the last human survivor in a city overrun by mutated creatures, helped cement the film's place as a standout in the genre, blending intense action with profound emotional depth. Have you ever seen the alternate ending? What did you think? Let us know in the comments.
Number 10. Robin appearing. Batman. Bruce wasn't always going to punch criminals solo in the 1989 Batman film. His sidekick Robin was initially planned to appear.
R. What's that stand for?
Robin.
An actor named Ricky Addison Reed was also set to portray Dick Grayson before director Tim Burton nixed the idea. Although he never soared as Robin, we know his role in the plot would have mirrored Batman Forever. Instead of Two-Face, Dick would have seen his parents get slain by the Joker. After this traumatic incident, Robin would help Batman out of a rough spot.
I need a name. Batboy, Nightwing. I don't know, what do you think? What's a good sidekick name?
How about Dick Grayson, college student?
Screw you. I just saved your life.
Incorporating this plotline into the 1989 film would have negatively impacted the Dark Knight's personal struggle. Since Bruce's parents were also slain by the Joker, having Dick share the same origin would have lessened the punch of the final battle.
Kill you. You idiot! You'll need me, remember?
Number 9. Downer ending. Clerks.
All I'm saying is if you're that unhappy, you should leave.
I'm not even supposed to be here today.
I know.
Clerks is one of the most surprising indie film success stories. It tells the slice-of-life story of a pair of store clerks on an average day of work. At the end of the film, Dante reconciles with Randall and plans to make up with the women in his life too. But there were plans for a much darker final scene. Dante, who wasn't even supposed to come into work that day, is shot and killed by a robber.
What, did you forget something? Oh, I'm sorry, we're closed.
Not only would this have given the film a much bleaker tone overall, but it would have made it impossible for the character to return in sequels. Feedback from early viewers and critics ensured that Clerks had a much more upbeat ending.
Here comes Randall, he's a berserker. Na, 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 na.
Number 8. Saruman's downfall. The Lord of the Rings, The Return of the King.
Come down, Saruman, and your life will be spared. Save your pity and your mercy. I have no use for it.
In the famous fantasy trilogy, Saruman is an antagonistic wizard who aims to help Sauron achieve his goals. Despite his bad actions, he just sort of goes away off-screen. But a deleted sequence makes it very clear what happened to Saruman. During the extended edition of Return of the King, the villain is confronted by the heroes.
Saruman, your staff is broken.
Saruman's then stabbed in the back by his henchman Grima Wormtongue and sent plummeting onto his spiked wheel. Peter Jackson reportedly cut the sequence to give the beginnings of the third film more of its own identity. However, both Christopher Lee and fans thought Saruman deserved a proper ending after all the trouble he caused. This is why you always go with the extended cut.
The filth of Saruman is washing away.
Number 7. Captain America adjusting to modern life. The Avengers.
He's out there fighting for the land that we love, and he won't stop.
At the end of the first Captain America movie, Cap gets frozen in ice in the 1940s and wakes up in modern times. When we see him in The Avengers, a quick scene hints that his past is still on his mind. But the film was actually going to dive deeper into his adjustment. After watching a newsreel about his life, Steve looks back at the people from his past before looking at the future. He also takes time to sketch what's changed in New York and talks to a waitress whose life he later saves.
Waiting on the big guy?
Ma'am?
Iron Man. A lot of people eat here just to see him fly by.
Including this scene would have made her eventual rescue more impactful and given us deeper insight into Cap's state of mind. We would have also gotten a bonus Stan Lee cameo.
Plus we've got free wireless.
Radio?
As for her number, you moron.
Number 6. Elsa's cold actions. Frozen.
Evening, gentlemen. Why are you on my mountain?
We were sent to look for Princess Anna.
Since Queen Elsa brings about a magically induced winter in her story, her subjects don't initially trust her. However, she proves to be a completely sympathetic character that makes up for her mistakes. But Elsa was almost as villainous as the Snow Queen that inspired her. A deleted storyboarded scene shows Elsa capturing several guards with her ice powers. She also built an army of snowmen to fight a local admiral that was on his way to clash against her.
Well, why didn't Admiral Westergaard come himself, since he loves her so? He's busy raising an army?
Since the film's Elsa mainly wanted to be left alone, the aggressive scene would have radically changed her character. The royal might not have been as much of a heroic icon if she had taken this dark turn.
What a coincidence. Never underestimate the power of snow and ice.
Number 5, a vulnerable Terminator. Terminator 2, Judgment Day.
Can you learn stuff that you haven't been programmed with? So you can be, you know, more human and not such a dork all the time.
The second, and still best, Terminator film has several deleted scenes we could have discussed. We could have analyzed the extremely happy alternate ending set in 2027. However, there's a scene that adds more layers to the robotic lore. During a deleted scene set in a garage, John Connor questions how human the Terminator is allowed to become. The robot then reveals that he could embrace more humanity if his organic companions reset a chip in his head. Since the Terminator can't live without the chip, Sarah attempts to destroy the component. John has to convince his mother not to proceed with a compelling argument.
And if something goes wrong, this could be our last chance, so no!
Look, Mom, if I'm ever supposed to be this great military leader, maybe you should start listening to my leadership ideas once in a while.
The scene gives more depth to the Connors' relationship. It also explains why this Terminator is able to become so human.
Was there a problem?
No problem. None whatsoever.
Number 4, the real monster. I Am Legend.
Open the door, please.
What are you doing?
I'm listening.
The theatrical ending of this sci-fi film saw Dr. Robert Neville sacrifice himself to stop the monstrous Darkseekers from capturing his friends and destroying a life-changing cure. However, the original conclusion was much brighter. Instead of dying in a fiery explosion, Neville realizes he's the true monster because he's been experimenting on the female partner of the lead Darkseeker. He decides to risk everything by letting her go free. After the gamble pays off, the Darkseekers and Neville are allowed to live in peace.
I'm sorry.
This optimistic ending was infamously removed in favor of the controversial sacrifice. Upon hearing the news that Neville will return in a sequel, fans wondered whether the original or earth-shattering deleted ending would be used.
My name is Ana Montes. There are other survivors. I'm traveling with Dr. Robert Neville and a boy named Ethan.
Number 3, morbid conversation, Sunset Boulevard. The story of Sunset Boulevard is recounted by Joe Gillis, the film's protagonist, with the events leading up to his death.
A murder has been reported from one of those great big houses in the 10,000 block. You'll read about it in the late editions, I'm sure.
While the movie is full of darkly comic moments, it was originally intended to open with a more blatantly absurd premise. The first screenings of the film featured Joe's body in the morgue coming to life and comparing with several other corpses how he died.
We need to talk, Nick.
This reportedly caused the test audiences to treat the movie as an outright comedy instead of the more satirical tone the director was going for. As a result, the opening was completely changed in the final version. The picture just got smaller, is what we're saying.
Are you ready, Norma?
What is the scene?
Number 2, Alex meets a different end, Fatal Attraction.
Excuse me, you said homicide?
That's right.
What does this have to do with Alex Forrest?
You saw her last night.
I told the lieutenant that, yes. Why? What'd she say?
This thriller sees a one-time affair turn deadly. After Alex Forrest gets entangled with Dan, she torments the married man and his family. Most fans are familiar with the ending where his wife Beth shoots the villain to finish her off. However, the deleted ending would have seen Alex's end come at her own hands. In this scene, Alex would have taken her own life and framed Dan for her death.
I didn't do it.
In that case, all we have to do is check your fingerprints against the murder weapon.
After he gets arrested, his wife Beth would find evidence exonerating him. The film would have ended on the gruesome act. Glenn Close actually preferred this ending for her Alex character. However, test screenings helped push the film towards a more confrontational ending.
There's nothing else left for me, Dan. Oh, thank God. Nothing.
Number 1, Rambo's Fatal Shot, First Blood.
It's not going away anymore, and I can't control it, Colonel. And I can't spend the rest of my life in a cell.
After Rambo spends an entire movie waging war against a local police force, he ends the movie by having a stirring conversation with his former commanding officer. Eventually, he surrenders peacefully. But John Rambo faced a decidedly darker fate in a deleted scene. He ultimately takes his commander's gun and asks to be shot.
You trained me. You made me. You killed me. You owe me that.
When the military man hesitates, Rambo literally forces his old ally's hand and makes the gun go off. It's a depressingly grim end to the character. Fortunately, Sylvester Stallone recognized that audiences likely wouldn't want to see this right after they filmed this ending. He helped persuade the director to go with the theatrical conclusion that gives the movie a bittersweet ending, and allowed for many sequels.
It's a long road when you're on your own.
Did you enjoy this video? Check out these other clips from Watch Mojo, and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.